The Conservative Policy Convention is happening this weekend in Quebec, and you might start seeing some headlines that seem to frame Pierre Poilievre as a bit of a centrist. Like, for example, he recently said that he as a leader is not bound by the Conservative Party member policy ideas. And what that really means is, hey, if you guys propose something that's way too radical, I'm not going to run with it. It seems as though Pierre has realized that he's not going to be able to win with the far-right rhetoric, and it seems as though he is trying to now pivot to a more centrist business liberal position. Basically being like, hey, I'm not going to rock the boat, but I'm going to be better than Trudeau. Now, one of his more controversial opinions is that he wants to defund the English language CBC, but he has made it clear that he would leave it open for French language funding. Meanwhile, the policy convention is going to be debating whether or not they also want to cut funding for French language programming. Which is why I was saying Pierre is going to be seen as a centrist. Because when you look at the Overton window and you compare the absolute crazy people over there and what a real conservative is, which is maintaining the status quo, Pierre only cutting half of the things is being centrist. Another policy proposal would prohibit life-altering medicinal or surgical interventions relating to gender for anybody under the age of 18. And I doubt Pierre would go for this, especially considering how hard it would be to pass that legally, considering it would be a massive violation of the Charter. And in another example of Pierre being a centrist, he's not going to come out and outwardly attack trans people, but he is going to support the narrative that it's not about the kids, it's about parents' rights. Which, by the way, in Canada, parents do not have rights to their kids. We've signed on to the UN Declaration of the Rights of the Human Child, and so kids have their own rights. But he frames it as saying that schools should be leaving LGBTQ issues to parents. Centrist. And another example of a centrist policy is that they are currently looking at abolishing medical cannabis tax, which is arguably one of the most progressive conservative policies that we have seen in decades. In so much that they have given up on calling it illegal and realize that it actually has medical value. Want to stay up to date on the Conservative Policy Convention? Hit the follow button.